plenty of yellow ochre. Gonna get some more white going. We want plenty of white. Alright, I've just got a bit of a brush. I'll just quickly, very quickly, just a bit of white with that. Just going to do a quick linear on this one. Just working out where I want the ranges to be and all that. They'll be about there. Finish about there. Alright, now I'm just going to go for a quick hike over here while I've got my cuppa on the go. Just want to get an evening painting in. I've got enough time to do a late afternoon picture, so gave me enough time to drive here, set up camp, have a cuppa and then get up on the hill and get to work. Alright, let's get this set up. We've got a nice light and shadow there. Let's get into it. All right, well, we've got something. It's a quick impression. The sun's starting to go, so a lot of the light is going and there's much more shadow now. But we've got some sort of basic resemblance. Anyway, I might just get the camera off, bring it in so you can have a look, and then I'll get back to camp. All right. Well, there's still a little bit of light left. Just got some pale blue shadows licking off into the distance. Absolutely beautiful. The sky's got those beautiful yellow ochres in it and the burnt sienna down low. It's doing it right now. That hill over here has still got that orange peak and the yellow ochre. The foreground's obviously gone into shadow now because everything's always moving. But before it went into shadow, I managed to get a bit of light and shadow, so that's all good. Like the gradation of the sky. All right, I think we've got something. What a beautiful scenery, eh? What a beautiful shot. Wow, I don't know if you can see it or not, but those hills over there now are going absolutely fantastic. I can't wait for tomorrow. The hills I painted on this side, they've all gone in shadow now, and that's all fine, and I managed to get something. But these ones that's catching the light for longer, so they're getting that more of that magic hour when that real spearing sun low on the horizon just strikes the hills right at the very end. You get those super strong colours. It's absolutely amazing looking stuff. Tomorrow's painting, I reckon. No worries. It's right on sundown now. We're getting beautiful colours out on the horizon over there. Magentas and blues. Right on the very horizon. Then it gradiates up into burnt siennas, yellow ochres. Almost a viridian green thrown in before it goes up into more of the blues. The belt of Venus, beautiful. Alright, I'll get all that. And away I go, back to camp. I don't know if you're seeing that, but just look at that band of colour out on the horizon. Absolutely rich tonight, it's so clean. That's what you get in the outback. That's the beauty. You just don't get those colours unless you come into the arid centre, and it's just, the atmosphere is so clean that at sunset the colours are just phenomenal. It's amazing stuff. I find that down south you just don't see those colours, or not very often. Not very often. You do see them sometimes. But up here it's way more common. Like through here we're getting beautiful colours in the sky. Don't know if you're seeing it through the camera lens or not. That's the beauty of painting on location. You can see all these beautiful colours that maybe the camera can't even pick up properly. And you can throw them into your painting because they're easy, you can see them. Look at that. Hopefully you're seeing that. That's pretty good stuff. Wow. Colours, absolutely beautiful. All right, I can go there. The colours are just so striking. Like, look at them. Amazing night or evening or whatever it is. Whoa. Here we go. Let's put this here, see what I've got. It's always hard to tell when you're on location as to what you got. I always like to have a look later on. Back at camp. Let me have a look at that. Yep, I actually like it better now. I'm looking at it now than when I was there. I was getting sidetracked by what was around me, finding it hard to judge what I actually thought of the painting itself. And I'm liking it. Okay, mission successful. Let's get the bed set up, the fire going again. Fantastic stuff. All right, well, good morning. Here we are. Excuse me, first light, bit croaky. The sun's just risen, and I've captured the moment. So the whole thing's painted before the sun rises, and just as it comes over the crest, you're already finished, and you're just putting those finishing touches on. So you're really working in a very dark situation and twilight. But it's all worked out, and the reason I chose to do this is I was going to paint the hills. I was going to look the opposite way and watch the hills light up. But there was so much cloud on the horizon that I realised that by the time the sun gets over all that cloud, all the magic colours on the hill would be gone. So I thought, right, change of decision, turn around and actually paint into the sunlight. And I'm glad I did, because I've got some beautiful colour combinations there of pinks and turquoises and all sorts of things. All right, get the camera off, we'll come buzzing in, have a look around, see what you guys think. Okay. Okay, time to pack all this stuff up. Not 100% sure what the weather's going to do. Excuse me again. I think there's a bit of a front coming in. Bit of a cold front, bit of a winter front. So, hence the extra cloud cover. At the same time, that extra cloud cover can quite often give you interesting composition. So, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Spearing light, beautiful stuff. Get this all folded up. And get back to camp and get breakfast on the go. Wow, that was a bit of fun. Really enjoyed that painting. Got to play with some cad reds and all sorts of high key highlights. That's the thing about the outback, like I was saying, the colours can be so strong, it's amazing. At one stage I could literally not match the turquoise sky against the high key pinks. I couldn't paint them strong enough. So you go for the maximum amount you can do, the highest chromatic saturation. Straight cad red and white, straight turquoises with white to really peach it up high key. Put it all together and see what you can do. And one of the tricks is to lower the key of everything else. If you want something to look bright, like a sunrise for example, and you can't quite match all those colours, one of the things you can do is lower the key of everything else. Lower the key of the foreground, make the sky slightly dimmer and everything low key, so then when you stick those highlights in, they've really got something to contrast against. They can really pop. If you make everything too high key to start with, you'll never be able to accent it. So in this case, I made sure that I'd lower keyed it enough to try and get that effect happening. So when I put the accents on, it really pops. Anyway, it's all fun and games. Right, what's the next painting going to be? Okay. What's it look like when we're back here? Like I said, they always seem to look a little different when you get them back than what you did on location. Pretty happy with what's going on? No worries. Fantastic. Rice is ticking over. Got the cuppa on the go. Beautiful weather. I've got a really big mountain behind me just here. Last time I was here, which was quite a few years ago now, I climbed that mountain with a big painting, a big canvas. Absolutely breathtaking views. I haven't got the hugest canvas with me this time, but I've got some nice sized ones. So I might go back up there and see what I can do, I reckon. It's a fantastic composition from up there. Go on a bit of a scout in a minute and have a look. Alright, well we've gone on a bit of a scout, climbing this massive mountain. There's still plenty of the wall left here. But as I'm getting up, I'm starting to get this beautiful view. I'll just get up this last little bit here and have a look. Just scouting for later on tonight to paint an evening painting. There's a light and shadow coming from the other direction. Right. Now you can see it's pretty good. Great views looking out that way. And that's the direction. I mean, there's great views all the way around. Look at that. What a composition, eh? Look at those rocks in the foreground standing upright. Just get these brushes clean between paintings. So as you know, I mainly use palette knife, but when I do use a brush just to smooth off a few palette knife marks every now and then, I like them to be a clean brush. So we'll just get these few brushes all cleaned up and we're as good as gold. Right. Alright, just got these slats on the back that I've tech screwed on, and that helps the painting stay on helps it all stay together better. Because you can get the clamps on here, it's much more sturdy. Look at all these flies. That's something they don't tell you on the tourist brochure. Wow, here we go. Right, so that's on. Not going anywhere. I might get it a bit more centralised though. We'll just go one more round. Go across. That's about it there. Okay. Gonna get some more white going. We want plenty of white. Plenty of yellow ochre. Alright, here I go, up the big hill. Another big adventure. That's the hill over there. It may not look big on the GoPro. May not look big on camera, but she's a big one. It'll take me, I don't know, 40 odd minutes I guess to get to the top. Paint the picture, 40 minutes to come back down. Got all the paints. Got plenty more paints in the kitty too, but these ones I'm using the canisters. It's much more efficient, cheaper way to buy the paint. Art Spectrum. They sell them in tins and canisters, cartridges, or whatever you want to call it. And so I've got a lot of that, and then whatever else, I've just got some tubes on board in the back too with the canvas, or the Belgian linen actually. Okay. Alright, well that wall in front of us, that hill, I don't know if you can see it, but there's this fine looking track going up there, like a goat trail. It literally is a goat trail. That's the track I'll be taking up, and it looks super steep from here. It looks like a wall, but if you come up and like go on the angles and come up along the goat trail, it's actually nowhere near as steep as it looks. It's still very steep and you've got to watch out, but that looks impossible, what I'm looking at the moment. Anyway, let's keep going. Whew. We've got a steep pitch here, steep pinch I should say. You can see behind me, we're in shadow now at least, which is good, but very steep. Right. You can see I'm starting to get up there and just following the goat trail. It's making its way up. Keep on going. Ooh-wee. Oh, she is steep all right. Here's me saying it doesn't look as steep, it's not as steep as it looks. Well, now I'm starting to have second thoughts about that. It is as steep as it looks. And shaly stones, you've got to watch out. There we go. Just got to navigate your way up. Great view though behind us, have a look at that. Right. Alright, hang on, let's get a view of that here, there we go. Now, I've decided I've come up without the gear. I left it halfway. It was a little bit too steep with all the gear, so I thought let's not go right to the top. There's still beautiful compositions down further, so we'll do that. Look at these flies, man. Anyway, let's go. I'm just coming down now. It's actually physically possible to bring the easel because I have found the best way. There's quite a few different goat trails heading up here, and I found the centre one. You've got to stick to the centre one. I could do it, but I'm not going to be crazy enough to do it. Even though I've got a satellite phone, I'm here by myself. There's only a couple of hours till the end of the day. And if anything happened, I'd be stuck up here in winter. So it gets bitterly cold, going down to 0 at this time of year. So it's just not worth it. I have got a sat phone, but by the time anyone got here, it'd already be dark, you know what I'm saying? So what I'll do is, you can see my gear down here, there we go, just down there. There's my gear. That's still high. I'll go from there. Okay. Just to give you an idea, hang on, there we go. Just have a look how steep that is. Look at that hill behind me. That's the one I had the goat trail navigating up, so that's why I'm thinking, nah. I've done it in the past, but I'm talking like, oh, I don't know, 20 odd years ago. But if someone said you have to do it, I definitely could do it. But it's not about that, it's about safety comes first when you're out here by yourself. That's what I say. When you're young and stupid, you got something to prove, well, go for it. But we've still got a great composition here, so let's have a look out this way. Beautiful, back where the gear is. That'll do, pretty good stuff. All right. Just got a bit of a brush. I'll just quickly, very quickly, just a bit of white with that. Just going to do a quick linear on this one. Just working out where I want the ranges to be and all that. They'll be about there. Finish about there. This will come down here. I'm in the way, aren't I? In the way. Just trying to compose this picture. It'll shoot out like that. Alright, so just getting a feel of what's going on with these ranges. Now, it's a pretty simple composition, it just comes in the foreground and flows around. Quick look at the palette. Cads, white, yellow ochres, and the reds and blues and greens, magentas. Alright. Put in the darkest darks, go for some red and a bit of green. Just going to stick a few darks in here to set the stage. Obviously the darkest darks will be here, and then it'll fade and get lighter and lighter as it recedes off into the distance. Okay, go a bit of white. Colours we got today. I'll use a bit of magenta, green, some of that white from earlier, ultramarine blue. Bit of green to knock it back and magenta. Bit of white, bit more blue with that. Pretty in green and magenta to knock the chromatic saturation down a little. Just lightening as it goes further back. And these hills back here are further too, so make them a bit lighter. Bit more white, bit more blue, magenta. Got a bit of yellow ochre stuck on there, I don't know how that got there. Alright, so that peaks there. It's a nice one. It drops in over there. Got some real pale ones back here. A bit more white, a bit more blue. A bit more white to lighten that value. About the right tonal scale. Pretty in green. It's going to go a little bit darker in some spots. Magenta, blue again. A bit more green in that. These shadows come casting. They're going to get a bit longer, so I'll paint them in longer now as I know they're going to get longer. Alright, let's go for some burnt sienna. Let's get this foreground in here. Burnt sienna, yellow ochre. Burnt sienna, yellow ochre. More yellow ochre, more burnt sienna. Now I've got tape around the edges so I can bring the painting right up to those edges. And when I peel that tape off, it'll be much neater. So you can go right up to the edge like that, knowing that you'll get a very neat edge when you get home, and sometimes people prefer that neater look, if you're going to have it unframed, that is. Bit of white, bit of yellow ochre, bit of burnt sienna. More yellow ochre, more burnt sienna. A bit more blue, red, just darken her off. Get it all blocked in. A bit more blue, viridian green. Just going to dark put some greens in there too, because there's lots of bushes and whatever. And this shadow comes right out. Burnt sienna, viridian green. Bit of blue to go with that. Burnt sienna, yellow ochre. Just mix up some earthy tones in amongst that. Bit more red, yellow ochre. Bit more red. Get it all in. Green bushes. And there. Nice. Alright, I'll change tack here, get that sky in. And we got white, yellow, blue, more white. Plenty of white. Yellow ochre. Plenty of that yellow ochre. This is the lower part of the sky. There's a lot of yellow ochre in that. More will come as the evening goes on, so I'll put it in for now. This rickety old easel. Not quite touching all the blues yet. They might smudge. I'll just get all this in and then I'll be more careful to get it right down to the blue in a minute. Alright, go up a layer. A bit more blue, less white, less yellow ochre, so it's more of a clean blue. Paint on. It's a fairly big painting for this evening, sort of late afternoon. Things have changed quickly, so don't want to muck around too much. Got to get things done. Let's go up a layer. Blue, bit of ultramarine, bit more red in that blue. Bit of white, but less white than before. A bit more white than that though. A bit more white, there we go. That's it. Get them mixed in nicely. Okay. I'll go up a layer, use ultramarine and a bit of magenta now. I want a little bit more of a red blue as we get up higher. So I'm using the ultramarine because that's got red in it. And the magenta. And a little bit more white, just, we want it to be a darker value but not too dark. That's pretty good. Pretty good. There's a fly walking around in the painting at the moment. Alright, I'm going to get a brush and just start softening straight up. Just move that around. That way I can bring the paint right to the edges of that tape too. Bring that right down there. Stick a bit of burnt sienna down there low and a bit of magenta-y greys and whatever else, but for now, let's just get this mixed. Blended beautifully, right up to the edges, nice and neat with that tape. Get that fly out of there, he doesn't need to be there. There we go. Just keep on blending it. Right up to the top. Yeah, when I pull that tape off, it's going to be such a neat edge, it'll be great. Okay, let's go some yellow ochre, burnt sienna and white, yellow ochre, burnt sienna. A few of those reds thrown in one hand. I'm trying to get a feeling of what's going on here. What value have we got here? It's got to be a little bit lighter. Let me just have a look at this. More yellow ochres and reds and browns and whatever. I can see there's a bit of orange in there too, and burnt sienna. Orange. Some nice warm values in there. A bit more orange. Burnt sienna and orange. Those flies are lovely. Get that down there. Okay, a bit of white to lighten that value. Just going to throw a bit of that colour through. Just little pieces of it here and there. A bit more white to lighten the value. Throw bits of it in here and there. Twang of magenta to send it back a bit. Bit of white. Bit of magenta as it recedes. Lighten that value. Stick a few magentas in there as it goes back further. Yellow ochre. Mix it with some of the sky blues out here. Some of those sky blues with yellow ochre to make the green, to make the foliage, like the saltbush sort of stuff. Gonna go for some of these greens and browns here. What do we got? Need to grey that a bit. I can see immediately, got to darken some of those shadows, they're too light. Just put these greens in. Going for some greens and magentas and whatever, just getting a darker shadow. I made the shadows a bit light, that's alright. Darken them off now. Just add a bit more white as they go further back though. Right, change tack here, go for some white. Magenta, there's a little bit of a cloud bank just chuffing along at the base there. A little bit of brown, magentas and blues. Making a shadow cloud colour. Let's just see what we've got, eh? Yeah, it's a little bit more brown than that. That's the beauty of painting direct from the subject. You can really see the subtle variances of colours much easier. A bit more brown. Stick that in as it chuffs along. Look at that, it's chuffing along nicely there. Yellow ochre, white, burnt sienna. Just going to make some light source cloud cover. Let me have a look. A little bit whiter. Chuff it in, chuff it around, a bit more burnt sienna as it gets lower. burnt sienna again. Alright, well, I've got something. I've got light and shadow near and far and all that. Feel like it's not too bad, maybe a couple of touches here and there. Not quite sure what to do. I feel like I've got the concept of the painting though, which was right up high, foreground, in shadow, near, and then going off into the never never, light and shadow as it gets further and further away. Repetition with variation as the ranges choof, 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 and off they go. I think I've picked up these beautiful colours in the sky here. I feel like I've got those beautiful peachly oranges and magentas up there in the sky with browns. Little blue ones down lower because they're further away, and then that beautiful ochre in the sky, that yellow ochre. Nice highlights as the sun's getting lower. We're hitting all the peaks and it's lighting up oranges and yellow ochres, and like I said, out here on the creeks, the dry creek beds are just getting lit up. A couple of little things like that. I might throw a little couple of tree branches in. Foreground shadow leading you out. Right, start packing some of this up. Still got a bit of a journey to get back down. I didn't go right to the top, but I tell you what, I've still got some steep sections to get through to get back down to ground level. So, let's get going. Alrighty. What's the chances of getting 100 bugs on there? I reckon we're going to get a few flies on the way back home. Might have to pick a couple of them out by the time I get back to camp. Quite often the way, because there's a million flies around at the moment. The funny part is sometimes they walk through the painting and they'll leave little footprints. They'll walk through the orange and then I'll end up walking up into the blue sky and leave these tiny little footprints. Sometimes I like to leave that. It just gives a bit of authenticity to the picture. Quite an interesting thing to see. It doesn't really affect the painting that much. You can't really see them unless you get super close. And then you can see these tiny little footsteps. Looks great. All right, let's get going. Well, we got through most of the real steep part, gotten down from that, so now it's just a long haul back to camp. It's all running, excuse me, it's all running fairly smoothly though. And those peaks lighting up over there nicely, lovely stuff. Just got to watch out for the occasional bushes so they don't scrub the painting. Wow, that's great, look at that. Whew, all right, here we are back at camp, you little ripper. How does the painting look when we're back here? Actually looks alright except for a few flies that have landed on it. I've got a palette knife here, I can pick them out. Looks quite good. It's always hard to tell when you're up the hill if it's any good. Look at it in a different light and a different location and I'm pretty happy with it. Alright, get these flies off. One of the little beggars there. blue paint, blue paint all over him. One fluffing around in the clouds. Not too many, I expected a lot more. There we go, not too bad, alright. Let's get it in the box. Alright, time for this painting to go into the box. We'll just line these slats up. And in it goes. Good as gold. There we go. Not a moment too soon, eh? Well, that was a big challenge. Quite a hike up there. And like I said, it became a bit dangerous with all my stuff, all my gear, cameras and everything. Wet pallet, heavy painting on the back. Became a bit dangerous to go right to the top. So I dumped everything and walked up the rest of the way. And as it turned out, I reckon I probably could have gone up, but the composition that I chose was fine anyway, so it was no need. Getting up the top, I got plenty of B-roll and other shots, so that was great. It was worth having a look up there. Everything good on the whole. Pretty happy with the painting. Light and shadow, near to far, warm and cool contrast. Back in the box, another one in the bag. All good. Made lunch already, so that lunch, I had a bit of lunch before I left, and now that'll become dinner as well because I made a massive amount. And that's the bonus of cooking up something in the middle of the day like that. When you get back to camp exhausted after being up the hill, you don't have to think about it, you've got something to eat. Great stuff. Very early. The camera's probably hardly even working in this type of subdued lighting. But I've got to get started because these morning paintings you've got to get going before the sun rises and then anticipate what's going to happen. And then as the sun's rising, put the finishing touches in. With that burnt sienna and white, start putting her in up here, just above the magenta. Blend that in nicely. Then go up a layer, so I'm going to go to yellow ochre and white. White and yellow ochre is always a good thing for skies. There's always plenty of that in there. I'll look up here, a little bit more white. Okay, now I'm going to go for phthalo blue. Well, actually, yeah, I've got a phthalo blue, that's right. So putting that up in here. Blending that yellow ochre into that blue. Might just go up another layer now, a bit of blue and some magentas. Slightly darker. Whoops. Magenta into those blues. A bit more white because that's too dark. Get that up there. And you can see those faint colours starting to appear in the sky. Hopefully the camera can pick up on that. Like I said, the camera doesn't always pick up on the subtle colours. Right. Swipe the knife clean, pull that down. Wipe the knife clean, pull it down. Taking a bit of paint off here with the knife. Just waiting on that sun to rise. You can see we're getting licks of colour in the sky. Just going to get the brush. In this particular painting I've taped the edges again the same. So what I'm doing with this brush is taking it right up to the tape. So when I peel that tape off I'll have a crystal clean edge. That's the theory anyway. So while I'm waiting for the sun to get up a bit higher, just clean up those edges. Okay, I'm just noticing a little bit of light starting to flicker across the top of the ranges now. She's spearing, so I've got to be quick. Just mixing up some oranges with some magentas. A bit more orange in that. Bit more orange with the magenta. Flick some of that light on now. Alright, well we got a couple of spearing moments, so I managed to put a little bit of sting into the painting to give it a bit of power, which is what I wanted. Because of this irregularity of the light and shadow, 1 minute's in perfect shadow like it is now, next minute you get this burst of light, and I just saw a burst of light or two, so I flicked that in just to give more power to the painting. Happy with what's going on. I've got the nice foreground shadow leading off into these beautiful ranges to go further and further off into the blues. Then this lovely atmospheric sky going on with peachy oranges and browns up in the shadows, and then the clouds get more of a blue in the shadows as they get lower. Lovely play of colour in the sky with the ochres grading over up into the blues and whatever. On the whole, pretty happy. Alright, let's get that camera off and come in and have a look, eh? Alright. Let's get this folded up, get back down the hill. These little French easels, tell you what, they're pretty good things. The way they fold away nicely like this allows you to carry all your gear. Really good thing, I reckon. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but hanging from the side of my belt here, I've got a satellite phone. And the reason I've got that is because I'm out of phone range here. And when you're out by yourself, doing these crazy things on the side of the hill and whatever, or up on top of the hill, at all sorts of hours with all sorts of cold temperatures, and hot, whatever time of year. Of course, it's best to have safety first, so this thing I never use, occasionally once in a blue moon. Hopefully I don't have to use it. But you've got it, so you know if things go pear-shaped, well, you've got a backup, so that's good. Anyway, let's go. The palette, still got plenty of paint on the palette, look at that, beautiful stuff. All right. As you can see, like I said, it's a funny old day. We've got all sorts of shadow now, just no sunlight, just shadow, but occasionally she'll spear out. And that's kind of, can quite often add a more interesting effect than if you just get the very predictable sunrise. This way you never quite know what you're going to get, and quite often you'll get interesting cloud formations to go with it, all the other stuff. It's a very clean atmosphere. I don't know if you can see, but right off in the distance, the blue hills at this time of morning are incredibly clean and blue. There's no moisture in the atmosphere. It's a clean, crisp atmosphere. And quite often, well not quite often, but fairly often, you get a bit more of a haze in the morning because there's a bit more moisture from the cold night. And so the colours are not quite as strong. But today it's a clean, crisp, stark atmosphere. Doesn't seem to be many particles, either moisture or dust or anything. It's just a clean, crisp thing. And then that way you get strong, beaming colours, complementary colours, warm against cool, hot against, warm against cool. Oranges against blues, magentas against yellows, all that real high contrasting burst of action. All right, well here we are back at camp, you little ripper. Let's see what we've got. See what we've got today, this morning. Pop that one in there. All right, let me have a look, eh? Yep, not too bad. Like I said, they always seem to look different when you get them back off the hill and bring it back to camp. So every time I get it off my shoulder and put it down by the trailer, I really like to have a look and just see what I think. And yeah, pretty happy with that one. Nice subtle colours and whatever else. All right, well, excuse me. What I'm going to do is take that tape off now, because that tape was on the edges just to get a nice neat edge. Before I do, I'm just curious to see how clean and crisp the edges are now. Okay, it's looking good. Yeah, I like that. I really like that. It's really giving it a neatness about it. So if you're going to hang it on the wall, stretch canvas or stretch Belgian linen, unframed, there's a real clean edge. Some people like to paint around the edges. I normally just go to the edges, whatever, but here by taping it, it's just a super clean, crisp product. Beautiful subtle colours when you get up close, lovely stuff. All right, well here we go, there's the painting. There's the beautiful clean edges from the taping. And here's the slats that go on the back. Now that just slides straight into the box. These slats have two effects. One, it's really good for clamping to the easel when you're painting, put builder's clamps there. But the main reason is, as you already probably know, is to slide her into the box. Hang on. I'll try and stay out of the way. Voila, done. Perfect. Now it's all ready to hit the dusty roads and whatever else, and there'll be no problems. Great way to store wet paintings. Just moving camp now. I found a great location. I've done a bit of scouting. Found a great location about 2 k's up the road. Great composition. So I'll be moving there. Get all this stuff done and away we go. Just going to make a fire here. This is the new campsite. I quite like it because what you've got is out over there, you've got these beautiful dome type, pyramid type hills, and the sun's going to set on them. It's going to be beautiful. It's nice and flat here for the swag. Good spot for the fire. I'm just digging a hole. It's a bit rubbly. All right, well here we are. Here are those really interesting shaped hills just on the horizon there. It's going to be a quick, simple one of those beautiful pyramid kind of shaped hills. Quite full on colour I'm putting in there, but it's going to become more like that as time goes on, and I can always change it back to more how it is if I get the picture done before then. Well, the light went over the sun hasn't actually set yet, but the mountains are so big off to this side that it's actually cast a shadow over my subject, so it's completely, the light's completely gone out. There's still plenty of light everywhere else. But anyway, I felt like I got enough in before all those shadows came across. You can see these shadows creeping across. They've eventually taken over. But anyway, got lovely warm and cool colours, a little bit of dancing rocks in the foreground, lovely gradation of sky. You can see that sky's got that colour now. When I first put that sky in, it was looking like it was a little bit too full on and dark, but I didn't lighten it. Just mixed it all together, and now it's got that same ochre down low in the sky. Beautiful magentas and oranges and cool green blue shadows and violet shadows. Not too bad. Let's get that camera off, come in and have a look. Okay. Get all this packed up as quick as I can. Well, we're getting the work done anyway. We're getting the work done. It's all a bit of fun. Blue, brown, red. Here's that last bit of light now starting to lick across the range. That's what I'm saying, there's still plenty of sunlight left. Just that hill. Oh well, you get that sometimes. It's looking nice over there, I'll tell you what. It's a beautiful mountain, that one over there. It's got a lovely peak on it. Wow, that was very windy, I tell you. A front's gone through down south. We're not getting any rain or anything, we're just getting tons of wind from it. They got rain down south. But all that's happening here is just blowing a gale. Anyway. Wow. Just have a look at this over here as we're coming back home. Look over there. Look at that beautiful sunlight and shadow. It's just, that's amazing stuff. Love it. Fantastic. Yeah, so I guess there was probably, I don't know, 20 minutes left of sunlight after my painting went into shadow. I don't know how well you're picking up on those colours, but look at those colours, they're beautiful. Fantastic. Alright, just coming back into camp now. You can see the car. And there's those peaks that I've got, so I've camped just below those peaks. Beautiful stuff, last light on them, absolutely fantastic. Okay. That's why I moved camp, because I knew I had a beautiful spot here. And you've got those pyramid shaped hills over there. And then you've got those beautiful ones just going down behind the trees there now. There we go, just setting. Anyway, here's us back at camp. Whoa. All right, what do we got there? Interesting colours. Got some beautiful, very subtle colours. Obviously plein air painting, like the colours are just so subtle. That's quite often something I notice about plein air work. There's kind of a subtle, rugged accuracy about working direct from the subject. Let's have another look up close. Whew. Lovely and warm by the fire. Just going to have a light dinner tonight because I had leftovers from yesterday's big cook-up. Had that, so I had a big lunch. So it's just something small for dinner, cup of tea, and then off to bed so I can get up early and do it all over again. It's a strange type of thing because what you're doing is, it's actually very hard work because you've got to get up at spoggies. I'm getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, cycling myself in, getting everything ready, going up on top of the hill just before the sun rises, or walking up the hill when the sun's still quite dark, because you've got to get the painting going and then just finishing as the sun rises. So there's a lot of work has to be done there. Then through the day you're constantly scouting for locations, trying to feed yourself at the same time. And then of course right at the end of the day is the last painting, so it's just like go, 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 go all through the day. But I love it, wouldn't do anything else. It's fantastic stuff. I reckon the camera's probably picking up on that. It wouldn't be hard to pick up on. It's pretty intense. Beautiful. So you get the blue, like I said, the sun's set over there, then the earth is casting a shadow, which is the blue. And then the last rays of the sun are just hitting above that, which is that magenta, up into burnt siennas, yellow ochres, and on and on and on. Bit of green up higher. Wow. Beautiful. Now, like I was saying, down the coast you still get it, but you just don't see it like this. Like some people say, what is those bands of colours? How do you know to put that sort of colour in a painting? It's like, well, I'm just looking at what's there. I'm not actually trying to make it up. Because some people say those colours are so strong in your painting. I've never seen it like that, but it looks so good. It's like, well, it actually does happen if you're in the right place at the right time. So there you go, look at that. Fantastic stuff. These old trees too are classics, they're mulga wood. And those mulgas is a really great type of tree that people make all sorts of ornamental things out of. It's such a beautiful coloured wood. People make, I don't know, they'll spin them, turn them and make vases out of them and all sorts of things. It takes a very long time for them to grow, and the problem is because we've got an introduced species now, rabbits, these trees will take like 20 years till I get to about this high or whatever. So now the rabbits are here and they're so slow growing, they only grow like so much a year in the arid environment. The rabbits always just chew them off before they've ever got to go. And so basically all these old ones which live for a long, long time are slowly dying off, but there's nothing replacing it. And so that's a real concern, because slowly over time it'll become denuded, the hills, because you got things eating them, goats, rabbits and all that stuff, feral goats. And these arid climate trees are very much hardwood and very slow growing, very dense. And they need a lot of time, and they don't need things chewing at them, as they just don't get going basically. Anyway, let's get back to camp. I reckon that billy's brewed enough. Time to get that cuppa. Righty. Liquid gold. All right, well, there it is. Bit of a moist sort of atmosphere this morning, just a dew mist rain coming through, the odd rainbow here and there. Still a lovely effect. Thankfully, that strong wind has left overnight, so I could sleep without wondering about a gum tree coming and landing on my head. Got the breakfast on, everything's good. Now, I just want to say that these paintings that I've been doing through this trip, I'm going to stick them on my website, on my online store, and if there's anything that you like on the trip and you want to have first go at it, I'm going to leave a discount code for a 25% discount for any of the paintings from this painting trip. Now the discount code will just be a simple one, my initials, RME, discount, we'll use that. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check it out. I'll get the paintings up on the store, and if there's anything you like, use that discount code. Simple as that. One thing I will say though, because the paintings are fresh off the palette, they're still very extremely wet and fresh. So if you do choose anything, you'll have to wait a couple of weeks for me to ship them off to you. And if you like, watch that video that I've got at the start of my website that'll show you how I make the boxes. So everything's very sound and very secure, so you know that it's going to get to you safe and in one piece. So if you enjoyed the whole trip as much as I did and you'd like a personal piece of it, now's your chance. 25% discount in the link below. All right. Get all that, and away I go back to camp.